Yeah, boy.
Hello survivors, and this is a Hoarders looting tips and tricks for 7 days to die by a hoarder. Well, in game, since I don't have much in real life to hoard, I do it here. So this will be mostly for console, but there will be some tips here that actually work all the way up to Alpha 21. Just a few, but there are some since I do play PC as well. But this is what I normally will do on my playthroughs whenever I have loot to respawn. Now, a lot of this is for loot respawn, but there are some tricks here for a non-loot respawning world. I'm going to be covering inventory management to looting houses and businesses, looting bodies, and how to create more inventory slots on your person. I won't be covering the mini bike. That's been covered quite a bit, but if you do have a mini bike with a basket, as they've always said, try to put in that basket all the things that do not stack. So like say you find a set of night vision goggles that you want to keep, that doesn't stack, so you're going to throw that in the basket. Try to keep all that lined up in there and keep all your empty jars and everything like that on your person. But anyways, enough talking. We'll kind of go through some of the videos here that I put together. I tried to get most things in this video lined up, but I'm going to be missing a lot of things, and there's going to be a lot of things that I don't know. And so I'd like for you, if you can, put some in the comment section below, because I'm always open for all of this. And if there's anything that I'm wrong about, put that in there too. I could be mistaken. I have not played 7 days on console for quite some time, but I have played it since it had launched on console. Anyhow, enjoy the video. Okay, so let's say that you come to your first town. You moved up down the street. What's the first thing you do? You got to go talk to your neighbors, right? And apparently your neighbors don't enjoy all the broken down automobiles on your front lawn. Your grass has not been mowed for a while. And they don't like the gun rack in the back of your junker truck with the NRA sticker on the bumper. So just pull out your trusty crossbow and show them that you are into gun control and that you will abide by their standards. Once they're all talked to, then you harvest the corpse after you loot the corpse. What I usually do is I'll hit them with a bat or something like that to turn them to the gore pile. You want to do this as a hoarder because you want to collect the rotten meat, the fat, and the bones. All of that is very useful. Bones for glue, rotten meat for fertilizer, and fat, well, everybody loves fat, right? So, one thing, when you're doing this as well, you're also going to gain a little bit of that skill. So, once they hit the ground and you have a little time, and you want to turn them into that gore pile quick, that one hit actually counts towards experience. So, you're actually leveling up your club skill while using a club or a knife. Sports bags. Always keep an eye out for sports bags. They usually carry gun pallets or clothing and armor pieces. Gun parts mostly, I've noticed, spawn with the sports bags. Now you'll probably wonder why I put one piece of wood in that sports bag. Well, I live close by, and the whole respawn rate, what happens is you put that one piece of wood in there, it gives it a chance to respawn items within the amount of days that it respawns, even if you're standing right close to it. Fortunately, one of the things in 7 days to die is if you're close by a container that you looted, even though you haven't opened it up again, it probably won't respawn. But if you leave one item in there, you wait for 5 days. I usually wait for an extra day. Like if I have it set for 5 days, I'll wait for 6, because it won't tell you that it's relootable until after you pull out that one item that's in there. Anyhow, one of the things you notice that I'm in this house looting is I'm chopping down the blinds. The blinds are plastic. The plastic sells for actually quite a bit to the trader, so I don't pass up the blinds. And also a good thing is chopping the blinds and the curtains for cloth. You also let light in, so if you do not have a miter's helmet, that's a good way when it's getting close to dark to kind of see a little bit better inside the house. Sinks almost always have something decent underneath them. The biggest on the loot table is the wrench. You will kind of be rare, but that is one of the best places to find a wrench other than a car. Cars are really good. They have quite a big list of goodies like mining helmets and all that, but sinks are the best for finding that. Corpses, really good as well. Corpses have a high chance of spawning gun parts, and they can go all the way up to some pretty good gun parts. I think it goes up to 44 magnum pieces. Now you see me, I grabbed this. It is a bonus to science. I already know how to craft a gas can. Now normally you would want to read that, but if I have space in my inventory after I've done looting, I'll usually keep that in there because that'll be a little boost later on in the game. You'll learn why, because it is kind of hard to get your science up, your science craft up. That takes a chemical bench or a chemical workstation, and a lot of those items that go into that are quite expensive, and it takes quite a long time. So later on, once you get to a higher level where each level takes a lot more experience to go up, that's a solid 1 point in science that'll just take you right up there. Televisions are great for that. They provide a lot of plastic, so if you have a wrench in that situation, like I didn't do it there, but you wrenching TVs, you get the electrical parts, which also sell great for a trader. You don't really need to use electrical parts for a lot of things in the early stages of the game, and it also gives quite a bit of plastic. A few neighbors left here. We're going to go ahead and try to take these guys out. Each zombie seems to have its own loot table. I notice that the big ones, the Barneys I call them, carry a lot of food. The nurses usually have a bit of medical supply. The Tweakers and the Daniel Larsons seem to have like a mix of clothing and whatnot. The Stompers, like this guy, will have clothing sometimes, but mostly like brass and lead. It's kind of random. I don't know the loot tables of all these guys, but they'll usually have each their own little bit. Stumps are really good, by the way. This one has nothing in it, but you can find quite a few things in stumps. Hunting rifle parts, med kits, cooking grills, pots, a lot of really good items, so don't overlook those. They're very prominent in the snow biome. That's like, I squirrel towards stumps every time I see them. They got honey sometimes, or even antibiotic pills for that matter. It's a really good thing to check. Now earlier on you saw me scrap a lead trophy. That's what I call kind of inventory scumming. So I'll do that and it will kind of add a little extra inventory. Unfortunately I pulled something. As long as you don't pull something out of your inventory, it'll stay in that scrapping section. and it won't scrap down to like it did with the lead there. But anyways, later on in the episode, I will kind of go over that. Something that pretty much everybody knows, but it just adds an extra 4 slots if you are overloaded and you want to take those brass candlesticks back with you. Same thing with this. You get gun parts. If you have the ability, if you read the schematic to assemble guns, and you find matching ones, do it right then and there. That's a good way to save space in your backpack. Here I am getting a few more of the plastic there. It's another gun bag. Scrapping metal items in general, it matters what your inventory is, and this is like getting really tight when I say this. Usually you're going to want to scrap like your cooking pots and all that, but if you keep it in the whole form, you get way more return when you throw it into the forge. Scrapping it basically gives you about half of what you would normally get. So if you got like a stack of cooking pots, think twice before you go to scrap it. Maybe just leave another item in that container. Like I said, you can always come back to that container. That item's not going to go anywhere even when the respawn day comes up. It's going to stay in there till you pull it out, then that container will re-loot. Same thing with the clothing items. One thing to kind of double dip on, of course, a lot of people know this, is if you have extra cloth from those curtains, repair the item, then scrap it. Doesn't make much sense, but it ups your tailoring skill, and you're going to end up wanting to kind of bring that skill up later on in the game anyway. The old jars. As you can see, I kind of go around the refrigerator because I'm a hoarder. I don't want to bust the refrigerator up, plus it's a lot quicker. Those wood walls go down pretty quick, even with a stone axe. It's another sports bag. They always have something really good. Now I'm having problems. One thing is, like I said, scrapping pots. Do that before you scrap metal pipes. There's a lot of things in here that you need, and metal pipes actually are something, even though you had to put a lot of them, is something that you want to take back with you, if you can. If you're really hurting, definitely scrap the pipes as well. Nails, all that, scrap it. Tin cans, scrap that as well, unless you don't have a cooking pot and need them for water. I use that schematic for the science. It kind of comes down to it as you're looting, what to keep, what to hold on to. Normally you'd plant a box outside the town, kind of like towards the center, and just park all that extra loot into the box, but I'm not doing it in this playthrough. I use that any like medical supplies that I don't really need or have space for, like the splint, I just use it right then and there, and that'll up my medical skill, which is better than getting like one wood from scrapping it. Just like this. There's a couple of bandages here. I've got quite a few of those back at home. I can make them because I got a little aloe garden going on, a lot of fabric, mostly from these curtains. And here's where we got the dilemma. Do I throw something in there? Do I throw my 200 wood costing spikes in the toilet for that handgun? Do I do it? Bet your ass I do. And then I scrap scum that brass trophy cup. Alright. So now I'm pretty much overflowed. I didn't really come into this prepared. I don't have a pickaxe, which is not good. It was just kind of going through the town at this time, and this is one of the video captures that I had. I just found the town. This is one thing. I shacked up at the bunker. I like to put boxes up top, outside of your base, somewhere kind of safe if you can, and I'll just do a dump there instead of always going back and forth down over the bridge or whatever. Especially if you're parked inside of a town or right outside of a town, it just kind of speeds stuff up. And then later on at night, where you're a little bit safer, closer home, then I'll do that. Businesses, I'll put a couple boxes up. For the most part, very important ones like these two are something that you kind of want to keep most everything that you find. I'll usually, like on the other side of that pop-in pills was a Shotgun Messiah. I would put all the boxes in the pop-up pills, and between all three businesses, I'd park all the leftovers in the pop-in pills where the boxes are located. This is the thing for wrenching. Say you need a battery or a engine, but you're a hoarder and you don't want to destroy the car and not be able to come reloot it again. Well, what you can do is you can wrench it all the way down low, just like in that first one there. Now, I didn't get anything except for some of the basics, like the gas, scrap iron, mechanical part maybe here and there, some electrical. But in this next one here, not this one, doing those full cars, the first stage you're not going to get anything but like leather and a few other things. So I usually just go after these already kind of broken cars. I'll bring it down. Now as you're checking my loot right on the right hand side bottom right, you didn't see a car battery pop up, but there was one in my inventory. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you don't see the engine or the car battery, so always make sure to look in your inventory. And also look on the ground, because sometimes you might over-harvest. You can actually get a battery and an engine, and maybe a radiator, all that from just one car. It's kind of an RNG thing, and I'm not sure entirely what level of you wrenching it. It could be for the first wrenching of it, all the way down to that last sliver. You're going to get it. But if you want to go for the full harvest, that one extra one could give it to you. So it's just for, the hoarders like myself. Now we're going to go through some of the inventory management. As you can see, you hit that bag in the top left of the container will kind of organize it. That way you can kind of find things a little bit better, and also makes it a little neater. Right here with the forge, putting those full candlesticks in there gives you way more return than if you were to scrap it and put it in there. And like with that idol or that trophy, I won't empty my inventory. First, I'll just click X on the scrapping menu to drop it on the ground, then empty my inventory, pick that back up off the ground to keep the whole trophy. Here I'm showing you, these are all books. These are all schematics, right? Why haven't I read all these? These are a lot of things that are something in the future that I want to kind of cap out. Some min-max thing, like the weapons, the science, all that. These are things like you can spam craft all the way up to like level 400 tools, but say you want to get to 500, right? And like the amount of tools that you have to craft in order to get a single point is insane. Each one of those schematics is 1 point, so that versus like 100 stone shovels to get that 1 point. It's worth it, and especially for ones like armor crafting where the resources are expensive, or science. Those are things that later on in the game you could sell them to a trader and just buy all your tools from them. But if you want to be able to craft all your stuff that's high level, that's one of the things that you kind of want to do. Maybe not to that extent. I'm an old schooler on this. Back before there was experience from zombies and traders, that was really the only way you could get up in level. So you kind of almost had to do it to get your levels up in the game. So I just showed you the price on the painkillers. These are things for the trader now, like blood bags. You don't get anything for blood bags, so keeping these is optional. I usually will eat them as I go unless I have some space. They do get some food and health and all that. It's pretty good, and it's also used to make med kits. So you can't really sell those. But I'm going to show you something that'll make you probably think, oh, well, I shouldn't keep or hold on to these. Here in my trader safe, there are the empty blood bags. Now, the empty blood bags sell for quite a bit for the trader. So even if you scrap them for plastic, I don't think you're going to get that same amount. In plastic, you can sell for quite a bit. I believe if you take the plastic and craft items with it, plastic items sell you for even more. I haven't really tested that out, but that's something I've noticed as I've come back. So I try to hold on to those when you do a popping pills. I try to hold on to those empty blood bags. I don't fill them up. I just keep them empty. They're worth some money before that. Also, gun parts, loose gun parts. That's all stuff that you can sell. Now I'll kind of get into something that I didn't come across in the video. Was like, say you find the flashlight, same thing. You put together your pistol. Even if it's not fully put together, you can put that flashlight in there. Now, something that you might find trouble with is taking the flashlight back out after you've already taken one of the pieces. So it's just that flashlight in one piece. You got to put that piece, another piece back in to get that flashlight out. There has to be at least 2 gun parts into the item to pull the flashlight back out. Now we're talking about getting more value for fully put together guns and what to do. Now, if your gun has one part in it that's fully repaired, you can't repair that gun. So make sure that all the pieces of the parts that go into the gun have all been damaged in some way. That way you can repair all the parts all at once, including the flashlight. Now, one repair kit might not repair all the parts. It's kind of random, I think. It'll repair some to full, some close to full. It might take more than one. It might take up to maybe even 3 repair kits to repair the gun up. But that's a good way to kind of bring all the parts up to snuff if you want to like combine them at the workbench, or if you want to sell them for a bit more at the trader. That's a good way to do it. That's why it's always good when you're wrenching cars like that to keep all the oil and forged iron, duct tape. That all makes repair kits, which are highly valuable. And like I said, keep all those bones to make the glue. The glue and then the fabric from the curtains makes the duct tape. The duct tape helps make the repair kit. Anyways, this comes to an end of the video. I tried to touch up on a lot of things. There's a lot of things that I couldn't really go over within the time constraints, but I hope this was informative to some of my fellow hoarders out there. And like I said, if you guys have any hints and tricks, please post them in the comments. I'd like to know. There's a lot of things that I'm still kind of pondering as far as like trying to optimize my loot generation. But anyways, all you survivors have a good one. Take care.